Hello everyone! Hello. Welcome back to this little voice workshop of ours. My name is Savvy, and today, as per usual every Sunday, I hope to teach you some techniques, methodology, and theory on how you can learn to modify your voice, whether it is to make it sound more masculine or make it sound more feminine. So let's get started with the most important stuff, which is vocal hygiene and voice safety. When it comes to voice, especially in those times of great heat, you want to be drinking plenty of water. And that is because the voice uses what we call vocal cords. We also call them vocal folds. And so those vocal folds will vibrate sometimes several hundred times per second. So if they're not hydrated, they're going to rub against each other and eventually cause fatigue, and fatigue, that you keep going through eventually leads you to vocal damage. So drinking water is paramount to voice practice, okay? Always drink water 10 to 15 minutes before doing any strenuous voice workout. And that is generally because when you drink the water, it does not directly go and hydrate the vocal folds directly. Instead, the hydration process will be happening through the bloodstream, through the blood flow. So be sure to drink water a little bit, wait a tiny bit, and then get into practice. Another thing I have to mention is certain medications that might be responsible for dehydrating your body. Medications such as spironolactone or antihistamines can dehydrate your body in general, which can have somewhat of an effect on the overall dryness of your vocal folds. So be sure that if you do take these medications, you take them, for example, in the evening or very early in the morning, so that they don't impede or cause you any trouble during your practice or your voice use during the day. At least that's what I do. Of course, coffee, alcohol, smoking, all of these substances also have the same properties of drying your voice, so be sure to do them in moderation or not at all if you can, or if you don't by default. So yeah, that's what I have to say about voice safety and vocal hygiene. Now let's get into what is voice exactly, or at least somewhat exactly. This here, as you can see on the board, is the power source filter model. It aims to break down the voice production into three simple categories. The power, which is how much air you push out of your lungs. The source, which is the resulting sound from the vibration of the vocal folds. And the filter, which is the overall size in which the sound produced by the source will then be filtered and reverberate. So very simply put, you push air from your lungs, it moves up here, it reaches your larynx, okay? And inside the larynx, you'll find the vocal folds. Thanks to the airflow from below, they will vibrate from bottom to top and create a source sound. And that source sound will then be filtered through the vocal tract, which is the nose space, the oral space, and also the throat space. And all of these together make up the vocal tract. And you can kind of see it as the body of a guitar, right? If you strum a string on a guitar without the body of a guitar, you're not going to get any sound. It's thanks to the big body of the guitar that the sound can bounce inside of it and create a long-lasting, full-sounding note. We are very similar in that sense. But the strings are here and the guitar body is here, if you will. Now, talking about a filter, and this is also what we what we call resonance or vocal tract size. The filter is one of the most, if not the most important component when it comes to changing the gender perception of your voice. Have a really small vocal tract and have a really bright voice. Have a really big vocal tract and you have a really dark voice. And these are the things that we're going to want to modify the most when it comes to changing the gender perception of our voices. Now, I'm not here to teach you how to sound exactly like a Californian valley girl kind of voice, or I'm not here to teach you how to sound like a surfer dude, bro, whatever. What I want to teach you, or rather, what I want you to learn to modify, is the effect or the non-effect of testosterone. And testosterone changes our voices at the time of puberty in most of us. And when testosterone hits our voice, three main things happen. First, the larynx, or your Adam's apple, is the bump of your larynx, if you will. Your Adam's apple will drop, creating a much bigger space, a much bigger vocal tract, which will then create a much darker sound. Then the vocal folds, which are otherwise vibrating fast, are going to grow longer and are going to create lower pitches. And those vocal folds will also end up becoming much thicker, which will then result into a much buzzier, much more powerful sound. And just like that, I went from a really femme voice to a really masc voice. I mean, I challenge you to tell me that this is a femme voice. Anyways, so we can revert all of these mechanisms or completely try, at the very least, to mimic them if we want to go towards masculinization. So, again, testosterone makes your Adam's apple drop. Ow!
Makes your vocal folds vibrate slower, which creates a lower pitch, and then the vocal folds gain more muscle so they can grow thicker and create buzzier, more powerful sounds.
And that is how voice function, or at least how testosterone affects our voice. And if you want to feminize your voice, you want to revert those changes. If you want to masculinize, you want to mimic those changes. And we'll be talking about how to do this with the people who will be moving up on stage in a little bit. But before we get into that, I will have us do some vocal warm-up. Of course, vocal warm-ups are just as important as staying hydrated. And that is because when you use your voice, it's partially muscle. And so if it's partially muscle, you have to respect it as such. Make sure you stretch it to warm it up. Kind of like voice yoga, if you will. Now, very simply, what you can do here is you can unmute yourselves, and I'll do a sound, and you will all try to mimic after me. Sounds good? Let's try this. I go first.
Ooh.
And you try in 3, 2, 1.
Ooh.
Back down. Oh, some really low pitches. Very nice. Now let's try a different sound. Let's try the sound Z, as in the word zoo. I go first. And you can try this in 3, 2, 1. Back down. Very good. All right, you all did really well. Now your voice is all warmed up. Of course, you can take this practice and do it a bit more strongly, more softly, depending on your needs and your wants with voice, of course. This is just one type of warm-up that we can do. Now, please, everyone, mute yourselves again, and we'll be starting with getting people up on stage. Starting with... okay, first of all, I need to say I'm going to have up on stage 2 people who want to masculinize their voices and 2 people who want to feminize their voices. So if you want to move on stage, jump in place, raise your hand, or use the hand emoji. You can. Okay, let's get started with... Let's get started with masc voice. Anyone interested in learning how to make
their voices more masculine? Alright, we got no masc voice crowd
today? Maybe later, I suppose. I don't see no one. So let's get started with femme voice. First and foremost, raise your hand, jump in place. Or, okay, you're a fav cat girl. You've never been on stage, have you? No? Alright, come up on stage. Come on, come on, come on. Everyone give a big round of applause to your favorite cat girl. Alright. Will you be everyone's favorite cat girl? Hello, hi. Let's answer that question now. So, we are going to have a timer of 8 minutes. Let's start now. So, your fav cat girl, a cat girl, your fav cat girl. What do I call you?
Cat girl. That's fine.
Cat girl. All right, we do this. So, from what I can hear, you sound already plenty feminine. So I must be asking you, I dare suppose you've done some practice on your own regarding your voice. And if you have, I guess maybe you are at a plateau or you're looking for some feedback on it. Where are you at in terms of voice practice? Let me all know.
I would just like some feedback. I have like no formal voice training. I don't know, yeah.
So you just started with that voice? You didn't start with like a masc voice?
Well, not really.
Okay, that's
It
interesting.
was just a little bit deeper than this, but not much.
Okay, understood. So I can understand that if your voice, your femme voice, is very close to your masc voice. For example, what if my femme voice is here and my masc voice is here? Like they're not too far apart, as opposed to like my femme voice is here
And my masc voice is here, right?
there is a much bigger difference. And in regards to my own dysphoria and my voice dysphoria, I can very much realize that there is magnitudes of steps between this voice,
And this voice.
right? Whereas for you, you might be like, my voice is here and my mask voice is here. And it's like not too far
Yeah,
away.
it's just
And
like
maybe
a little lower than that, maybe.
just da 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 da. It's like maybe like down here at most, right? So
Or
it never
yeah,
really
maybe a
was
little
like,
further than that, but it
okay,
wasn't
maybe
deep.
you'll. Okay, fair enough.
It wasn't like that deep.
Okay, that's fair. But yeah, all I wanted to say is like your I don't know, like how do you feel about your voice? Like you just want feedback, you've had no formal training before, you kind of went for it, which is great.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the result sounds very good. But the point I wanted to make is that maybe like if you ever feel, well, I should ask this question before assuming, but do you ever feel voice dysphoria regarding your own voice? Or is it kind of chill?
No, not when I'm in this voice.
Okay, very good.
I notice it gets a little raspy sometimes, but that's like the only big problem.
Okay, very good. So let's try and test that voice a little bit. Let's try these sentences. Has the board loaded for you?
Yeah.
Awesome. Can you try and give that first sentence a read?
Hello, good morning. How are you?
All right, very good. Hello, good morning. How are you? So it's very well intonated. Hello, good morning. How are you? It's going kind of like doing this kind of like roller coaster of pitch, which is kind of what we expect in a generally more feminine leaning intonation, right? But maybe, okay, I personally don't have anything against it. I think it's a really cool voice style to like have creak, hello, good morning, how are you, right? And creak is not necessarily something that causes you vocal fatigue. At least it's not supposed to. So I guess I have to ask, is creak a stylistic choice, or is that something that just happened in your voice? You're like, okay, I'm gonna go for a fan voice, and then a lot of creak
That's just
happens.
that's just how I did it by default. I'm like, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So a few things to take into
I
consideration.
like it though.
That's great. Awesome. So creak is generally better for your voice than its open counterpart, because creak is what happens when your vocal folds are closed, but too closed and not enough air is passing through, right? So like right now I'm creaking, and the reason for why you hear like this bubbling, this creak, is because like only a little bit of air can escape through the vocal folds, and the few vibrations you hear as little clicks, hence creak. So it's not necessarily a bad behavior to have. For example, speaking like, hello, good morning, how are you? Whilst it can be a cool sound in certain circumstances, it's extremely drying to the voice and can be very fatiguing. So I don't think your raspiness or your tiredness when it comes to your voice comes from that creak. I don't think so. Maybe creak is a symptom of perhaps a lack of control that we might find in later sentences. But yeah, if you like that, that's great. But can you control it and not use it? Go from hello, good morning to hello, good morning. Are you able to do that?
Huh? Oh.
To like
Wait, how
remove
did
the
you do
creak?
it? Oh, I'm
How
not
did I do
sure.
it? How did I do it? That's interesting. Let's talk about it. Enter ring vocal fold closure. What is vocal fold closure? Well, it's a concept that aims to describe the opening of the vocal folds, right? As you can see, the white body here is the vocal folds. And those vocal folds will open and close and open and close and open and close, sometimes several hundred times per second. For example, just give me a pitch, like ah or ah, any pitch.
Ah.
So this pitch, ah, that's a C4. That means that your vocal folds are opening, closing, ah, ah, 260 times per second. That's an enormous amount, right? So the higher you go in pinch, the higher you go in pinch, please stop saying pinch instead of pitch. The higher you go in pitch, the more likely you are to fatigue because you are soliciting using your vocal folds to a much greater extent. They vibrate literally much faster, right? Also, when I heard you hold that pitch, I heard this. Ah, it was maybe a little bit breathier than what I would have expected, like a ah, for example, that would be much less breathier. And this is the perfect thing to discuss this. So, when we generally speak, we tend to lean on the balanced end of things. When I speak right now, I speak only in a balanced way. However, there might be time where I go to lower pitches, and as I go to lower pitches, I have a tendency to use creak, right? Because lower pitches have the vocal folds vibrate slower, and so just because it's easier, I go for creak, and also it's kind of restful for my voice. So I like the creak when it comes to lower pitches. Higher pitches, not as much. I mean, you could speak like high pitches and like use creak, but like it doesn't sound really natural. I mean, like that's also because I'm being monotonous, so it's not really a fair comparison. But you tend to lean on creaky. Now, when you were holding that C4 note, that 260 hertz note, ah, you were breathy. Ah, right? It seemed like there was a lack of control of your airflow. Because, see, when you use your voice, you always breathe out from your lungs, right? Ah, I mean, unless you're like some Tomodachi Life character and you speak by breathing in, right? No one speaks by breathing in, right? No one speaks by breathing in. Okay? So, I mean, in certain cultures, someone might, but you might want to learn how to regulate your airflow because this could help you control when creak happens or doesn't happen. And this could help you achieve higher pitches without having them be breathy and eventually tiring out your voice, right?
Mm.
So how do we do this exactly? Well, I want you to try the following. Mimic after me. Ah.
Ah.
Lower. Ah.
Ah.
Interesting. You do this. Ah. Yeah, okay. Okay. Let's try a lower pitch. Ah. Is it not coming through? Oh, it might not be coming through. Check
I'm
your
just
sound settings really quick. Go into the
no,
quick
I was
sound
just muted.
settings.
That was my bad.
Oh, okay, no worries. Let's try this again.
Yeah.
Ah. Now this is very breathy. Ah, right? So you're pushing a lot of air. Ah. Now I want you to try to take that same sound and go as quiet as possible with it as you can. Something like ah, much quieter bit. Okay, so now the sound doesn't come through as much. Would you say that this is a very common thing that happens, that your voice doesn't trigger unless you put enough force behind it?
I'm not sure. When I'm
What's
tired, maybe. Like
if you are dehydrated and tired, you might have mucus in the way and your vocal folds might not be cooperating. So there is some truth to that. Sometimes we are not at our best vocally speaking. But I don't want to hold you too long here, but what I want you to try is I haven't heard like a balanced sound from you yet. I've heard mostly breathy or creaky. So it's like either you're too much closed or you're too open, but never really in the middle. Unless when you speak, you just go between balanced, creaky, balanced, creaky, balanced. There's some balanced when you speak, right? So with practice, you can maybe try to like find more of that balanced sound. And then try to go back and forth between that and a creak. For example, give that a try. Try to go balanced to creaky and then creaky to balanced.
Kind of like
Okay.
that,
Yes, very good. Now, what I heard was more like breathy to creaky back to balanced-ish breathy. So it was kind of like, right? So I think you might be like still putting a bit too much tension on your voice. You probably would want to practice with like the least amount of air so that you really teach your vocal folds. Well, teaching your vocal folds is a weird concept, but you kind of force your vocal folds to vibrate with the least amount of air. Hence why I was like, do the quietest sound you can, like whether it's like, or like, doesn't matter what pitch it is, just so you can find that sound that's like perfectly balanced. Not too breathy, not too creaky, right? And then try to like go back and forth between balanced and breathy, or between balanced and creaky. And to do this, well, you could lean on the fact of like, well, you know how to do creaky really well, right? I mean, it's more automatic in your case. It's not super controlled, but I think that you know how to do creak because you produce it so much, right? So another way to try and practice the closure gradient is, interestingly enough, not using the muscles that open or close the vocal folds, but rather by modifying how much air you output, right? Because a breathy sound is the result of a certain configuration of vocal folds that just isn't closed enough to deal with a sheer amount of air, right? So the louder you are, the more likely you are to be breathy if your vocal folds are not closing properly. So try to practice at like really low volumes and just then try to slowly build up your voice back to something more balanced and something that works better for you in the long run. Other than that, I don't have much to say. Like, your vocal tract size is very small, your pitch is generally higher, your voice sounds very soft, not buzzy, right? So you're saying, hello, good morning. You're not saying, hello, good morning. So that's all good. Your biggest issue would probably stem, or rather come from the behavior of your vocal folds, and how you kind of uncontrollably go creaky and sometimes go breathy. So practicing the closure of the vocal folds by doing the closure gradient, you can try creaky, balanced, breathy whisper, something like and back. Right? Or you can do more simply what we call glottal strikes or glottal attacks. So it's just like a you know, can you try this? Very good. As you might notice, your vocal folds just like they slam close. So it kind of sets you back on a balanced or a creaky sound. So if you ever feel like you're breathy, you can use that as a quick hack to get back into a more balanced voice. Okay? Sorry for taking the extra time, but this is very interesting stuff that I don't talk enough about. So yeah, your voice sounds fine. You're in the polishing phase of things, I think. So yeah, just work a little bit on the glottal behavior, on the production of sound, on how the vocal folds behave, and you should be good on your way. All right, everyone give a big round of applause to Cat Girl. All right, see you around.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so we started with femme voice, but let's see. Do we have anyone interested in making their voices more
Masculine.
perhaps? Do we have anyone interested? Preferably someone who has not been on stage before. Are you scratching your head, or you want to go up on stage? Oh, I'm not sure anymore. Do you want to come up on stage to Zephyr? Yes? Oh, are you trying to move, perhaps? Ah, am I mistaken? Did I just make you very uncomfortable? Oh no, you do want to go up on stage. Okay, come on, come on, come on. Everyone give a big round of applause to Zephyr. Hello, Zephyr. Or Zephyr. Or Zephyr. I don't know how to say your name. Zephyr.
Before, yeah.
You have been here before. That's why you've been hesitant. You're like, I should, maybe I shouldn't. I should. Maybe. I don't know. All right. Well, since there is no one else who wants to practice masc voice, might as well do it with you. If there's going to be another chance for a masc voice, so be sure to get in the center so I can see you if you ever want to next. Okay, Zephyr. Let's get started. We got 8 minutes starting now. So, Zephyr, welcome back. How has your voice journey been going since last time we met?
Oh my god. It's been kind of. I mean, I wasn't practicing before, but I've been, like taking it back again, and
Yeah.
like practicing even more a little, even if it's just whispering and stuff. But
All right. Did you I can't speak today. It's too warm. It's like 100 Fahrenheit in here, 32 degrees Celsius for those who are civilized. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Anyways, Zephyr, have you been able to practice a little bit with your pitch range, kind of playing around with how high pitched you can be or how low pitched you can be? Because that is also a very important component. Resonance, vocal tract size, very important. The pitch also goes together with it. So
maybe not much, but I'm trying to, get the hang of it and stuff.
all right, no worries. We'll go through some of those sounds together. First, I want you to match my pitch here. Ah.
Ah.
Very good. Ah.
Ah.
Very good. Ah.
Ah.
Nice. Ah. Very good. We're on G3 right now. Ah. So we start. Oh, we're on F sharp 3. Never mind. Okay. Let's try and hold that pitch for a little bit. Ah. 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 So we went back up to G3. It's all right. No worries. Now let's try this. Ah.
Oh my god.
Doesn't need to go as low, just from your highest to your lowest. That's what I thought. You can go much lower. Okay, let's do it once more. And then you hold that last pitch. All right. E3, much lower than your G3 from before. Actually 4 semitones down. Right? So it's interesting, right? Because we are seeing that you kind of get stuck, like as we do scales down, you kind of end up plateauing at the bottom, kind of like flooring at plateau. Let's say plateau. And you kind of like go down, and then once you hit like I guess somewhat comfortable low pitch, you kind of like redo the same slide. Instead of right? But as we do that lower pitch from the high point, we kind of break that pattern and you end up going much lower than before. So I know I do a lot of that practice where you all will do like scales, da, in this case going up, but for masc voice, we go down because we want to conquer that lower pitch range, right? We want to make use of it. And so it's interesting to see how we do much better when we don't think about it too much. There might be a reason behind it. Again, I say it might. I don't have like a study to prove this directly, but from what I've observed, sometimes going from really high pitches down to low pitches really quickly kind of like helps you go to lower pitches. Maybe there's kind of like a limit break kind of thing. I'm not sure, but I don't know. It's interesting. I think there's also some psychological aspect to it. Who knows? But your lowest pitch, E3, very satisfying. Oh, down here. If I ask you to mimic that pitch, can you do it again? You're here.
Wait, what?
Just do that low pitch. So you were higher, and I'm here. So we're like in the middle. You're here. Yes, there you go. You did it. Let's rest a bit and then try to go for that pitch again. Remember how it felt, how it sounded like. Try to emulate the sound in your head. If it helps, close your eyes, think about the sound. Close your eyes and think about the sound in relationship to that high pitch from before. Now imagine like a ladder going down. And again, do it. Slightly off, but only by a semitone, which is otherwise very good. So, okay, E3, very solid. Now let's see if we can couple that lower pitch with some darkness to it. So let us get some sentences to practice with. So, let's give this a try. All right. Let's say for that low pitch again. Slightly lower. Yeah, nice. Hold it a little bit. You're moving up a little bit. So this is why I'm like being very picky with it, because if you keep like you're gonna eventually go back up to like a much higher pitch voice, and so I can't really let this pass. Even if you reach E3 at times, you have to keep bringing it back down. Really bring focus on that. Okay. So, all right. And now that same pitch, I want you to read that first sentence. That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
That mad rat sat on the flat mat.
That's F sharp free. Try to match my pitch here. I'm gonna keep doing it and you try to match it. Okay, a little bit off, but it's okay. So with time, it will get more precise. But okay, let's try this again from the high pitch down. Yes, yes. That mad brat. Keep it up. Or down, rather. Okay. That mad brat. Directly into the sentence.
That mad brat sat on the flat mud.
Okay. Take the time to first reach that low pitch. That mad brat.
That mad brat. Let me try again.
It's okay. It's a bit of a tongue twister. You're okay. That mad brat.
That mad brat sat on the flat mud.
Okay, very good. This time we didn't go to F sharp 3, we went to F3. We're one away from E3. So it's just a semitone difference. It's a small one. Okay. Now let's try and add the darkness to it, right? Because right now we have more of a that mad brat, but we want it to sound like
That mad brat.
So try to whisper that mad brat on a really dark whisper, like
Darth Vader dark. Oh, that mad brat. Give it a try. The dark side is with you. Yeah. That mad brat.
you can do it.
That mad brat sat on that.
Nice.
Oh my god, it's
It's okay. It's very deep,
That mad brat.
right? Try to compare it to a bright one, like that's mad.
That mad. That mad. That mad.
Try to step it down with each iteration. Nice, very good. And from here,
That mad.
we're going to close the vocal folds, get back to a balanced voice. So whisper, breathy, balanced.
That mad brat.
Give it a try.
Say that. I'm sorry.
Take your time. It's okay.
Yeah,
like,
that's
I
very good.
lost-
Yeah.
I would be
That's it.
over-
You got it. And you just say, that mad brat.
That mad brat.
It's so that was interesting. You did the, and then you started speaking, and it went like that mad brat. So it slowly went back up, right? So what you can do is take your hand in real life, put it on your neck. Do you feel a bump on your neck? It might be subtle. Okay, you feel a bump. Very good. Give me a bright that mad. That's mad. And you should feel it go up or stay in place. And give me a dark that mad.
That mad.
And you should feel it lower. Try it out. Very good. Now with the perception of your hand, you can tell if it shoots back up, you should feel the Adam's apple rush up in your throat. So now try to go dark.
That mad.
And then let's try this again.
That mad brat.
That mad brat.
Nice, that's much better. Interestingly here, that mad brat. It only went back up at the end, right? Almost like your voice is like, okay, I'm done with this sentence. I can go back up. But yeah, that's about it. What I would recommend is just like keep at it. Definitely record your voice. There is potential for your voice to go much lower than your usual. You kind of tend to like go down at like G sharp 3 was kind of where you were like stuck at the start, and then you went to like G3, F sharp free, F free, and E free at your lowest. I'm sure with practice you could go even lower than that. So what I would recommend is to definitely have some fun with some pitches. If you have an instrument, even better, try to play along and use your voice alongside it. If not, there is plenty of apps online that can help you work on your pitch. Just your pitch, not gender specifically, of an app, just pitch by itself and just see how far you can go and how you can improve on your range. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Very good. All right. I want to give a big round of applause to Zephyr. Woo! Okay. Okay. I see you. You want to do masc voice, right? Yeah. Not now. We'll do it. Oh. Yeah. I'll do you later. Okay. You've never been on stage, right? Never been on stage? No? Yes? You have been? You haven't been? Okay. Well, I'll see you afterwards. Let's do femme voice now. Who wants to do femme voice? Okay. All right. I saw you raise a hand. This guy's person. Yes? Yes? You want to come up on stage? All right. Come on, come on, come on. Everyone give a big round of applause to this guy's. All right. Hello, hello, hello. Hi. All right. Let's get started. We got 8 minutes. All right. You're brave. Give a big round of applause to this guy for coming up on stage. Yay. Yay. Oh my gosh. You're doing it. You're doing it. You're doing it. Oh my god. Okay. Hello. Welcome. Hi. First time on stage?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Have you been already practicing some stuff with your voice? Well, you said first time on stage. You've already been to one of those workshops before?
No, I just haven't had time because stuff's been going on. But I have had
Okay.
a little bit of practice, but it's just like trying to just raise my voice myself.
Okay, very good. So you have been practicing your voice a little bit, it seems. Would you be comfortable with showing me your starting voice or nah? You don't need to.
So,
Sure.
yeah, this is about my starting voice.
Oh wow. Are you sure it is? Because it's super gentle. It's super cozy, comfy.
Okay, this is about more like this. So yeah.
Even then it's still really soft, right? So I'm not saying it's not masculine. I mean, I guess it could qualify, but
I don't know. I mean, I've noticed that with recordings it sounds higher than it feels in my head, but
that
I
is
don't know.
normal.
Yeah.
That actually is normal. There's a physical phenomenon that does that. Did you know?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so when you produce voice, what do you really hear? You hear the voice that comes out of your mouth, bounces around the walls, or, goes into the recording and then back to your ears, and you hear the reverberation of the voice, right? It's the sound that comes out of your mouth. But because the voice is produced inside of our body, it can also make our bones vibrate. And quite literally, the bone of our jaw up to our ear will vibrate, and we will tend to hear a hint of bass to our voice that other people do not hear, right? So that's why your voice sounds deeper in your head than it is in real life. And that goes for all you trans femmes out here, because I know y'all are like, oh, but my voice sounds so bad to me and people keep saying it's good. Well, that's mostly why, there's some techniques to called out, sorry. But yeah. So yeah, interesting. So it's a very interesting baseline that you have. Now, let's talk about your femme voice currently. You said you've not been able to have a lot of time to come to these events, and that's okay. Life gets busy. I get that. So let's talk about the 3 components about femme voice, right? We want to have a soft voice, we want to have a higher pitch, and we want to have a brighter sound, have a smaller vocal tract size. You seem to already fulfill the pitch part and the softness part.
Okay.
Actually, maybe the softness a little bit too well, perhaps. I know it sounds weird to say that femme voices can never get too soft, but they can. I mean, I could be speaking like that, and that's too soft of a fem voice, right? So no one can hear
Okay.
me, right?
Yeah.
So there's,
Yes.
you don't exactly sound like that. I would say that your softness, or rather like how quiet your voice is, maybe comes a bit more from, well, perhaps your mic setup, but also from how breathy you are. There's a lot of air coming out of those vocal folds. Right? Air should come out of the vocal folds, of course. That's how voice is produced. But it depends, right? We can use the airflow and do a full vibration, a full bodied vibration of the vocal folds, right? Or we can do, you know, are you still here? I don't see you move. Oh, yep, okay. Whoops. Technical difficulties happen, I guess. Okay. You know what? I'll wait for her to come back. Em, why don't you come up on stage? Yeah, you wanted to do mask voice? Yes. All right, come up on stage. All right, everyone give a big round of applause to M. Let's go! Oh my god. Everyone is on fire, M. Hello, welcome. We got... Okay, I can pause this timer here. We got 8 minutes starting now. Okay, hello. Hi.
I've been here already.
You have been here already?
Yeah.
Oh no! Oh no! Okay, I mean, like, I didn't see hands raised at the very start, so I mean, hey, might as well have you on stage. It's alright.
Yeah, so, yeah, mask voice, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see ya. Yeah. You got a
Good.
strong avatar, yeah.
When I was first up here, actually,
Uh-huh.
I sounded like this, and now I can, ugh.
Oh, like bring the strength back. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. Heck yeah. All right. This guy is, I see you. I'll get back to you right after this. Okay. So, let's see. What an amazing voice. So much power behind it. I want to see where we can bring it. How about you show me your lowest pitch that you can do? Give me a slide from your highest down to your
So my
lowest.
highest? Okay.
Yeah, yes.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
My highest? Okay, hold on. Oh.
Oh, what's the pitch here? This is a G sharp 3. Mo.
I bet you can go lower than that. Let's try
I
this.
can, I think.
You just did it. I can, I think. Just when you speak, you actually go lower than that. So you were at G sharp 3. You're unless stuck here, and then you just spoke and you went below at F3. So it's very interesting how it works. Oh, okay, hold up. This was D3. That was your lowest. Okay, hold up. So when you speak, you seem to have that pitch kick back in. Why can't you access it by holding it?
Because I sing, and so when I sing, it comes out like Epic the Musical. Epic the Musical.
Epic the Musical.
Absolutely.
I be singing it all the time.
Hell yeah, as you should. It's awesome to sing. But right now it does kind of bring up a problem. Like, singing is super different from speaking, right? Like, when you speak, you kind of like use your voice more subconsciously, and so you kind of like just go for like those lower pitches, like whatever feels more like speech, So let's try this. I want to see how you fare on that first sentence. Can you read it to the best of your ability to bro-duding?
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, that mad brat. Yeah.
You can do it, yeah.
That mad brat sat on a flat mat.
Yeah, so that mad brat sat on a flat mat. Okay, let's try to take that same pitch here. And then that mad brat sat on that flat mat.
That mad brat sat on a flat mat.
Na da 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 da.
Ooh.
The same way and on C3. That mad brat sat on that flat mat. That's very low. Can you try and hold that pitch here? That flat mat.
That mad brat sat on a flat mat.
Now you went higher. The flood mat. Mat. Try this. Mat. Oh.
Oh shit. Okay. Oh.
Oh.
Oh. I think that's as far as I can go.
Lies, because I heard you go much lower.
In terms of like elongating it, because I'm like really good at
Yeah.
singing long ways.
Yeah.
It's very different. So like, if I wanted to say Matt and singing, I'd be like, that mad brat sat on a flat mat. But I
Right,
can't
so-
do that with like.
Right, because you have a type of singing where you project, right? So you tend to go louder, and that generally comes with also like higher pitches because you put more power. So with more energy, those higher pitches can come more easily. That mad brat, right? So with speech, it's very different. Like you can't treat speech and voice the same way. In a way, you're good at controlling your voice consciously when it comes to singing, but when it comes to speech, it's very different, right? You gotta think of speech as a melody, but not as a song. I don't know if that makes sense. You know, it's kind of like the same kind of
same tune. So like if
yeah.
I sung it, okay. Hold on, let me
So-
practice to myself first before I do it here.
Okay,
I'm
sure thing.
nervous.
You do you.
Ooh, maybe.
Oh,
That mad brat sat on a flat mat.
okay. So that's one melody. Da 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 da. Now let's try a different melody. Da 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 da. That mad brat sat on that flat mat. Try this.
That mad brat sat on a flat mat.
Mad. Very good. See, we're starting to get here. D sharp 3. Now, without changing the pitch, instead of we da 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 da, can we like use that pitch and pretend we're robots? Beep boop. That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
That mad brat sat on a flat mat.
Okay, that mad brat sat on that flat mat. Okay, da 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 da. Now let's try it too. Da da da. Let's be lower pitched robots. That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
That mad brat sat on a flat mat.
Interesting. Da 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 da. Why yours start higher? Da 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 da. Da, 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 da. But you're very capable of going lower in those pitches. Why is that?
I have no idea.
No idea, but if you just held that pitch at the end, But if you said, I have no idea, and just hold that.
I have no idea.
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 Yeah, idea. And then you can try and speak just with that pitch at that. About that pitch, yeah.
Okay.
Idea, da 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 da. That mad brat.
That mad brat.
Yeah, that mad brat. D3, that's very good.
On a flat mat.
Yeah, that mad brat sat on that flat mat. Again?
That mad brat sat on a. Wait, hold on, I messed up.
Yeah.
That mad brat sat on a flat mat.
You went higher again. Ah, da, 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 da. Your first one was actually a bit closer, but that's okay. Okay. Da, 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 da. Okay, what if you did this? Give me a really dark, that mad brat, like, that mad brat.
I can't whisper. I don't know if you remember.
You know what's...
I
Oh,
can't
right.
whisper.
No, no. Okay, can you yawn, like...
Yeah, and then keep that quality at the end there. Oh, and then try to say that mad brat. Yeah.
Mad brat.
Yeah, like that. That's awesome.
That mad brat. Then take the pitch lower. Da 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 da. That mad brat.
That mad brat.
Da da da. That mad brat.
Oh. That mad. Okay, wait. That
Yeah.
mad brat.
Okay. We did lose a little bit of that like darker quality from the yawn, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Um
I was starting
okay.
high. That's what I was supposed to do. I was like, oh, hold on. Let me just.
Yeah. Do you practice using pitch monitors?
No.
No, I really
didn't know how to use it.
You don't know how to use it. But you sing all the time. How can you not?
I don't know. I sing like 7 different times. Like I had to do Hermes from Epic the Musical, and I retook his laugh like 7 times. And whatever sounds closest to me or the other people, I put in. So whatever sounds better.
Okay. So if you want to take it like to the next step, because there's a lot of your range that, well, in terms of pitch, that you're not using and you're using kind of when you're speaking, you know? And when we get to like conscious practice, you kind of just like go over like the singy side of things. But if you got like a bit more conscious of those lower pitches, and to sense that like you can monitor them like objectively with like a pitch monitor, you could then track how well you're doing with your voice and just see that, okay, I did a high pitch here, okay, I'm trying to go to the lower pitch, and you can like see a line on your phone, for example, and you can try to like bring it as low as you can, for example.
I
You know,
guess
like a
with
mini
certain
game.
characters, I have like if I do have to do normal like 2 different characters, I have like, oh, I did Odysseus, so I will do like me regular singing. And if I have to do like, I don't know, Penelope, then my voice would be up here and I'd be like, I would fall in love with you over
Right.
and over again. I don't care how, where, or when. But normally,
Yeah, normally, like you're very vibe driven, but what I'm trying to say is like, whilst this serves the purpose really well for voice acting and for singing, you can't like do a like one-on-one adaptation of like your singing and voice acting skills to voice or like just speaking voice. And you would gain a lot from like doing more conscious practice with like some software that could help you monitor it. So I would recommend like a pitch tracker that you can use. They're all free online. So like, do you have like an Android phone, for example? Or
yes.
iOS, I don't know. Anyways, I'll put it up for everyone to see. These are the apps I would recommend. Mostly Vocal Pitch Monitor because it's just the pitch. On Android, it's free. Nail the Pitch, it's free. It's on iOS. Voice Tools is free as well. It's on both devices. Singing Carrots on PC. I think you have to make an account now, so I don't know. Just do it if you want. But yeah, all of these softwares are free to use, and you see like how it makes a line here, right? Like,
I think I know what my problem is. I
Hmm?
have this app, the vocal pitch one, but
Yes.
what had happened is I have like little noises or things in the background, for example, like
Ah,
fans,
yeah.
that I can
Yes.
just turn off, so it picks like everything up.
That's fair. Yeah, it depends on how good your phone microphone is. But I guess you could use. Do you have a microphone on your PC, perhaps, that you could be using?
I don't have a PC. I have to buy a new
Okay.
one.
Okay, fair enough. But maybe there's like a setting of like sensitivity or whatever. But if you're just loud enough, you can trust, you know, that like you said it yourself. When it picks up the background sound, you know it is picking up the background sound, right?
Yeah.
So you can still make a good educated educated guess as to what your range is at, right? Anyways, we have been a bit over time, but that's okay. Let's wrap it up here. Everyone give a big round of applause for M. Yay! Keep up the good work. All right. Yes, this guys, you were disconnected for technical reasons. Come back up. All right. The revival of disguise. Yay! Woo! Too early. Yeah. Okay. Welcome back. So on the time. No, it's okay. No worries. So let's get back into the groove of things. I had the timer paused for us, so let's start it again. Here we go. Okay. Boop. So, yes, this guys, let's see what we can do with your voice. I want to try and read some text with your voice. Can you give me a read of that very first sentence, please?
Hello, good morning. How are you?
Okay, so right now what I heard is this. Hello, good morning, how are you? It's a very breathy voice. There's a lot of air coming out of it. So what we're going to try is the following. I want you to match my voice here. Ooh. Pay attention to that sound. It's very quiet. Ooh. But is it breathy? Oh. Ooh. No, it's just balanced, right? So we're going to take that same sound and move up. Ooh. Very good. You start to hear this, ooh, right? That's what's happening when your vocal folds are struggling because you're pushing too much air against them, right? So still try to stay as quiet as you can. Ooh. And the quieter you stay, the less likely you are to breathe out too much air. Okay? Ooh. Yeah, and then from here you can say, hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
So much better now. Hello, good morning. And now let's try to go down. Hello, good morning. Da 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 da.
Hello, good morning.
Very good.
Good morning.
But careful here. Hello, good morning. So you go darker on good morning. So what we're trying to do here is to brighten good morning. So I want you to say good morning on a whisper, like good morning.
Good morning.
Very good. And I want you to try and scale the word good from dark to bright. Good, 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 good morning.
Good morning.
Very good. And then from here, good morning.
Good morning.
Very good. Good. But you heard there was something weird with the whisper. Right? It was kind of stuck, right? This is a very common issue of what we call false vocal fold constriction. If you hear that your whisper has like a really harsh quality to it, or in certain cases, I'm going to try to mimic it. Anyways, you maybe hear like a little bit of a whistle behind it, right? That is due to the involvement of the false vocal folds. See, the false vocal folds are on the side of the true vocal folds in white. And the false vocal folds have the function of helping you scream, of avoiding that you swallow food down the wrong pipe, of, helping in general also with the adduction of the vocal folds. By adduction, I mean with the closing phenomenon of the vocal folds, exactly. And so when you generally use your voice, you don't really need them. But in the case where your vocal folds do not function properly, or because of a certain strange behavior that your voice could be taking up, your false vocals are just like, they're kind of like naive. They're like, oh, you need help? I'm a help. I'm a help. And then you get that sound, right? It's very common in like old guy voice, like, oh, you whippersnappers. Old grandma voice. You whippersnappers. Or like the witch cackle. We're so far off Halloween. But anyways, the false vocal folds can come into play, and you want to be careful not to use them. When you were doing that good morning, that first good morning was really soft and gentle. It was not like a good morning, right? So it was not distorted. But as you were making the gap, or like breaching the gap from whisper to breathy to full closure, you ended up, oh, good morning. You lost a bit of that brightness in favor of getting a balanced sound that sounded nice, right? So you lost a bit of that brightness, right? So whispers are really useful because we can hear how small the vocal tract is. Small vocal tract.
Big vocal tract.
Right? It's very easy to hear.
Pat.
But they're also a dangerous tool because if you use it too much, well, whispers dry out your voice very quickly. And also, if you start from whispers, it can be a bit more difficult to reach balance because you could get stuck in breathy. You could have issues of how much air you push. So it's important to modulate how much air we use. Going back really quickly to sentences. I want you to take that first word, those first words, that mad brat. I want you to say them on a whisper, very gently. Like, remember when we did that super soft sound, like, right? Yeah. I want that same amount of air, but on a whisper. So from to. It's not even picked up because it's so quiet. And it should be that quiet for you as well. Give it a try just to get a feeling. It's mad brats. Even less air. That's mad brats. That's much better. Very good. Yes. And then from here, slowly closing them. Yes. That mad brat. Great. And now let's try to say that mad brat. Now careful here that a lot of air comes into play, right? So we want to keep that amount of air to a minimum. That mud. Go softer if you must. That mud brat. That mad brat. Okay, and we can try to make it a bit louder. That. Yes. That mad brat. So careful because you do that mad brat. You go breathy at the end every time. So try this. That Yes. Mad. Yes, so good. Now you're no longer breathy. Mad. Right. Brat. Awesome. That mad brat.
That mad brat.
Great. That mad brat.
That mad brat.
Oh, Brad, yeah. It's okay. Whew. That mad brat. Okay, very good. And then from there, you can start to build up a bit more, volume to your voice. That mad brat, that mad brat. But as you might have noticed, when you get louder, you tend to that mad brat. Right, your vocal folds are like blown out of proportion from how much air comes from below. That mad brat, right? So it's a matter of learning how to stay balanced and increasing the closure each time. When we did the little strikes, ah, 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 right? It helps the vocal folds close again, right? Ah, ah, ah. So as you noticed, it was a great tool to help you get away from breathiness. And now you have an ear for breathiness, and you know when it happens, you know how to fix it too. So with practice, you'll get the breathiness out of there and no problem. All right, that's about it, this guys. Sorry for dividing your session in two, but I was trying to make the best of everyone's time. But yeah, very good stuff. I think you have a good baseline, but as for the first person who came up here for her femme voice, you share a similar issue where instead of leaning on creaky, you lean more on breathy. So you're breathing too much air out too fast, right? That, or you're just not managing your airflow enough. Either you breathe out air less, or you match how much air you push, which would yield a louder voice. Don't be afraid to be louder at times. I know a lot of people are like, I don't want to do mistakes. I want to do a perfect voice. If I'm quieter, perhaps people will hear my mistakes less, but chances are that's not really the case. And, you might want eventually to not yell, but be loud with your voice. So, yeah, here is to your practice. So best of luck for your practice, this guys. Everyone give a big round of applause to this guys. Keep up the good work. I'll see you around. Okay. Wow. I have like a burning fire in front of my face, so I'll keep it short. Do we have any questions from the Discord or the Twitch stream if it is up today?
We do have one Discord question. Let's see here.
Shoot, ask ahead.
From Luna. I understand both vocal pitch and weight, but this resonance thing really bothers me, or really stumps me. I've been in choir for a while. This is one of the only things I've tried to do with my voice that I feel like doesn't come naturally and requires a lot of active thought. What can I do to make resonance more of an instinctual habit instead of a big effort that needs a lot of focus?
Okay, so unfortunately, with anything that comes to voice or with anything you want to practice, really, there is some time where you need to, unfortunately, be conscious about the practice. I bet you yourself were conscious of how you were singing in and out of tune inside your choir. Pure, you want to be in and or out of tune of your resonance. Now, resonance is a big buzzword. I know we use that a lot, but we have a more scientifically grounded term, which is vocal tract size, okay? Now, the vocal tract size refers literally to how big or how small your vocal tract is, right? So if your Adam's apple is really high, it leaves you with a smaller throat space, okay? Physically, you might understand it. You want to understand how to do it in a practice manner, however. We haven't been doing it too much today, but we have done it a little bit. What we tend to use is whispered guided practice. Because when you whisper, your vocal folds are not vibrating. You're not hearing weight, because you don't hear the body of the vocal folds, and you don't hear pitch because the vocal folds are just not vibrating. So when you do a whisper, you hear quite literally, quote unquote, a form of resonance pitch, right? So if you do pa, 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 you can hear it almost like a melody, very similar to like da 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 pa 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 pa, right? So you can use those whispers as a way to monitor how bright you are. and hopefully doing that practice, it wouldn't stump you as much. Another little hint or little help I have for you is that I dare suppose that if you are in choir, you sing with a lot of people. Now, if the person who leads the choir does their job well, they probably have taught you on how to make your resonance a lot darker,
To keep your throat really big and open.
right? Because the bigger your throat, the darker you sound. And the darker you sound, the more we hear the pitch, but the less we hear the brightness of your voice. And that's really important because when you are in a choir, if everyone sings with a really, really bright voice, everyone, it sounds really loud and pleasant, and, some voices might be louder than others, but putting everyone with a dark resonance,
With like having a bigger vocal tract by dropping the Adam's apple or like by yawning, right?
you might have heard those techniques, like yawning, for example, for choir singing. Well, that's how you can get like a coherent choir going, right? So what you do in the choir of
Having a darker tone.
to sing with everyone is exactly the opposite of what you want to do for feminizing your voice. I suppose it is for femme voice. I'm not sure if the person asking was asking for femme voice or masc voice, but I suppose femme voice. So yeah, that is, thank you. That is what you would want to be working towards too. Use whispers as a guide, kind of like pitches, but for the height of your Adam's apple. You can put your hand on your neck, feel your Adam's apple, don't push down, just feel for the bump. And if you do a really dark whisper, like a pat that cat,
Pat that cat.
really dark, you should feel the Adam's apple below. That's a dark sound. You should feel the Adam's apple move up. That's a bright sound. And then bridge from that whisper into a full voice. Try to do it at a high enough pitch so you hear feminization, because if you do it at a low pitch, you're not going to hear a lot of feminization in your voice. But yeah, so a pitch like F3 or G3 is fine. So yeah, that's your toolkit to practice your voice, and hopefully that helps you unlock the key of resonance, aka vocal tract size. All right, do you have other questions from Discord or from Twitch? All right, I'll answer that one and then be done for today. All right, let's see it. What's the question? Wait, you said just listening to this made your throat hurt? Or were you mimicking listening to all of this? Oh. Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay, I see what you mean. Okay. What a question. I mean, like, I am a voice professional, so like I do these vocal gymnastics every single day, traveling from a femme voice
To a masc voice.
to a femme voice
To a masc voice.
to a femme voice.
To Kermit the Frog.
I mean, what? It's all kind of different voices that I do, and I know all the techniques to go for it. If you shoot directly for them and, without any prior warm up, perhaps you didn't warm up your voice. Perhaps it's just that you might have like psychological bias in the sense of like you hear
Like
my voice darkening and brightening, and you maybe think about, my Adam's apple is moving up and down, oh gross, or like maybe it makes you feel weird, and that's okay. It's unfamiliar of a feeling, but it should not hurt at any point. If your voice does hurt, or if your throat hurts, then you probably are sick, or I don't know. I assume that you've tried to mimic alongside the session, or okay, I don't have enough information going off of this. But, explore things slowly, one thing at a time. Don't rush things. The rushing things with voice is the best way to get your voice dead in a minute. So, treat your voice very gently. Your voice is also partially muscle, right? I don't know where you're starting from. If you had testosterone affect your voice or not, I know nothing of your voice. I don't hear it, so I don't know what makes it hurt. But in general, if you are really soft with your voice, if you are very gentle with your voice, if you like start with low volume, like really quiet sounds, if you avoid breathy sounds altogether, this is a good way to get started because you are not going to dry up your voice. You're not going to force it at a high amplitude. There's also the chance that you might be a vocal underdoer. If you are a vocal underdoer, that means that you just don't use your voice that much. Like literally you just don't speak in the day at all. And that alone can mean that there could be some muscle atrophy at the level of the vocal folds. And so perhaps that's also part of why your voice would get tired very quickly, right? Most of us, we all speak like a good amount each and every day, right? So there's some of that as well. So sorry, a bit of a fuzzy answer, but I didn't have too much coming off of this question. I hope you were still able to grab some tips from it. So yeah, I wish you the best. And if you want to know more, hey, just hop in vrchat and maybe you'll have a chance to go on stage and we can discuss this more precisely and help you more than through a Twitch message. Okay, hope that answers your question. Okay, so it's not that I want to go, but I really want to go because my face is burning and it's a heat wave and I just don't want this in my face anymore. So I'm gonna cut it short here. Thank you so much, Rory and V, for supporting me today, streaming and moderating, or not moderating, but like looking at the questions and all that. Thank you so much. Sorry for making it late today. I appreciate you making up with my me being late. So I'm gonna finish it here. Hey everyone, my name is Savvy. I teach voice feminization and voice masculinization. I teach also voice androgynization or human beatboxing with sounds such as. So if you want to learn any of this, I teach lessons on Discord, private setting or public setting. If you want to learn more about my pricing or how to schedule with me, you can always shoot me a message on Discord at savvy_sav. Better yet, I have a Discord server in which you can come in and shadow public lessons. So you can come into lessons, listen to them, learn alongside people over there. That is called Scientifically Augmented Voice. You can just click my name and there's a link directly to it. Of course, you can also ask your questions already in the Trans Academy Discord if you already are a part of it. If you're not, what are you doing? Join us already. But yeah, ask your questions over there in the voice training channel. Jessa and I will try to answer you, and other quite trained people in the community can also help you out. So yeah, y'all have a great one. I'll be catching you next Sunday as per usual. This was Savvy out, Savvy burning. Bye everyone. Bye bye.